Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for this tutorial. Now in the summer months we are fortunate with the flower varieties that we have on offer to us. Not only are we able to source locally grown blooms, but the Dutch flower markets are bursting with seasonal flowers. Although we are able to source the majority of varieties all year round, buying out of season will incur a higher cost for the blooms and you'll often end up with an inferior product. So purchasing varieties that flower during their natural growing season will provide you with stronger stems, optimum blooms and good value for money. Now, Mother Nature offers a huge array of blooms with vibrant colours at this time of the year, such as sunflowers, hydrangeas, delphiniums, calendula, dahlias and cornflowers, to name just a few. Now, I'm going to use foliage to start with to create the outline and structure of the bouquet. What I'm going to ensure is that all of the stems form one point where they cross over at the back. And the more stems that you add inside the sphere will cross over and actually help to anchor the rest of the flower stems. Now try, as always, to use seasonal greenery, and in this case spirea, viburnum, prunus, etc. They're really useful for adding interest, movement and height within this style of design. I'm going to add movement with the olive, height with the eucalyptus and interest, in this case, with the clematis kibo. Now passing those through the sphere, you really want the stems to all cross at the back. So by that, I'll show you what I mean. So you can see this is where your binding point is going to be, and try, if at all possible, to keep that binding point clear, clean, and don't let it travel. It's going to make for a much better handle for the bride to hold if it's kept in one position. Now the beauty of doing it like this in a chicken wire frame is, if you're unsure where to go to next, you can actually lay that down and pick it up again, and all of those stems will stay in the same position. If you actually do that with a hand tied, where you're just holding the stems, they are going to fall apart quite quickly unless you tie as you go along. So that's one advantage of doing that, or using the chicken wire. If you have everything all at one level, all you're going to get in the centre of the design is a mass. So all of the blooms will amalgamate together and your eye will just take in one mass of flower. Now always look at the blooms that you're using, and I'm still going to employ the rule of using the larger, more developed blooms to the centre of the design, and then the smaller, less developed blooms, the outer edges of the bouquet. So this one looks fairly well developed to me, so I'm going to pop that one in the middle. You can see just slightly lower than the delphinium, position wise. Still maintaining a spiral stem format. Now it's quite difficult when you're working with a front facing design and you're standing behind it to actually gauge where the placements need to be positioned. So if you have the opportunity to work in front of a mirror, that will actually provide you with an insight into what everybody else viewing the bouquet is going to see. So that would be a really good tip to employ. So work in front of the mirror, and then you can see naturally how the bouquet is developing, and you'll get an overall image that people viewing the bouquet will also see. Now, the beauty of using this style of medium to construct the bouquet is you can adjust the stems. So for example, if you wanted that rose to be in a higher position or elevated, you can literally do that. If you tie off as you go along, it doesn't give you that advantage. And then bear in mind that the bride will be viewing the bouquet from the same angle that you are. I'll try and turn that round so you can see. Oops. So ideally, you want to cover the exposed chicken wire so that she gets a good view from the back view that everybody's getting from the front. So cover that with more eucalyptus. And clematis. And then you can see, I'll just once again turn that round. You can see that back's covered in nicely and still maintaining the spiral stems. So a quick check to make sure the design is aesthetically pleasing. I'm going to add one more piece of eucalyptus. And then I'm going to tie those stems off. I'm just using green twine. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it's given you an insight into using a mechanic such as chicken wire to aid the construction of this really popular design. I hope it's increased your confidence in offering this design to your brides. The move towards natural styling is an essential technique to employ when conducting a consultation with today's brides, who are looking for sustainability, seasonality and value for money. Thank you again. Join us for our next tutorial on the Academy, and I'll see you there. Bye for now.